The boy asked, "Girl? What is this here?" The police officer replied, "You are being fined, you parked in a handicapped spot," and he says, "Look what I do with this fine here," and she says, "Look what you are doing, you are disrespecting the authority, you just tore it up a fine," and he replied, "Do you know who you are talking to?" And she says, "It doesn't matter who I'm talking to, but you're being fined and you're acting wrong," and he says, "I'm going to show you who I am, I'm Mel Ferreira's son, his boss," and the police officer replied, "You're a son from Mel Ferreira? You should have more respect and get another fine here." The policewoman takes a deep breath and leaves, then he goes after her, and when he gets close to the girl he asks, "What do you think you're doing?" A gentleman watches the two arguing from afar. When the boy tries to grab the police officer, the gentleman arrives and asks, "What are you doing with her?" The boy replied, "What is it, man, what are you wanting?" The man says, "Let the woman work," and respects her, and the guy goes up to him and says, "What do you want?" "You disgusting beggar," and the policewoman screams, "Let him go, let him go." The guy calls him a cane foot and pushes him, and the police say, "Now you're going to be arrested for assault, now you're in prison, to learn how to be a person, and you stay quiet or I'll have to call for backup." The other guy takes a piece of wood and goes to the policewoman and says, "Let him go," and she says, "Let go of that stick now," and he says, "Give me that handcuff and tell her to go get it." Soon the two make fun of the policewoman and end up hitting the wood on the man, and the policewoman says, "Look what you did. You hit the gentleman." The two run to get out of there soon, and the policewoman says, young man, are you okay? I'll call for help." When the call is returned, she says, "Hi, I need an ambulance," and quickly, and informs the address of the place. In the car, the guy who started all the trouble says, "What now?" "I think it hurt the guy," and the other one replied, "Dude, just get out of here soon, we're screwed," and the other one replied, "Man, I'm going to have to call my mom to fix this," and another one said, "Dude, are you going to call your mom? And I? What will happen to me? Am I going to be arrested? And will you be okay?" He says, "No man, relax, my mother will solve everything," and he says, "Man, you're her son, you're going to be fine, and I'm screwed, I'm going to end up being arrested, and I'm never going out again," and the boy says, calm, and calls his mother. When he sees that his mother answered, he says, "Hi mom." She replied, "Hi my son. What's happening?" He says, "Mom, I need urgent help." He tells her the address and says there's a policeman chasing him, and she says, "Chasing? Like this?" He replied, "Yeah mom, I parked the car here and she's making up a lot of excuses to arrest me, and she's saying a lot of things," and the mother replied, "Hey my son, she's making up her own stuff, is this serious?" He replied, "Yes mom, it's serious, she's wanting to arrest me anyway, me and my friend, come here soon," and the mother replied, "I'm on my way now my son, and no one is going to arrest you for no reason, and he will soon, thanks your mom," and hangs up the phone. When the ambulance returns, the police say, "Okay, I'll wait." Seeing that the man got up, she asks, "Are you okay?" "I'm going to catch those irresponsible ones who did this to you." She knocks on the door and says, "Open the door." And he pulls him out of the car and says, "Look what you did to you, you hurt him," and the boy replied, "Let go of me. Are you sure you're going to do this to me? My mother is coming here, and if I were you, I would think about it," and the policewoman screams, "And you in the car can leave now." The guy says, "Look, if I were you I'd think about it and let go of both of us, because otherwise you'll lose your job," and his friend says, "Dude, shut up, you're only making this situation worse," and he replied, "Calm down dude, relax, this one can't get anything." Your friend runs out and the guy says, "Hey you coward, run away," and the policewoman yells, "Where are you going?" The boy says, "Do you see? I'm saying you're not cut out for this job and you don't know what you're doing." The policewoman says, "More respect for me, and I am fit for this service," and he replied, "You shouldn't even be in that place, you're a woman, you don't even know how to work," and the policewoman says, "You just sit there, I'll call the ambulance, that so far it has not arrived." The policewoman says, "Hi. Where's the ambulance that hasn't arrived yet?" What do you mean they canceled the ambulance? Seeing that the boy was leaving, she says, where do you think you're going? He says, I'm leaving, there's no reason to wait, and the police say, you're being arrested and have more respect for me, and he screams, let me go. The mother, who is a delegate, arrives at the place and says, can I know what is happening to my son? The policewoman says, are you Mel? Your son is being arrested for contempt of authority, P for parking in the wrong place, and for assaulting that gentleman, and he said, Mom doesn't believe her, it's all a lie. The policewoman said, lie? Aren't you ashamed of yourself? The mother said, did you know that you can lose your job? For arresting my son for no reason and making up lies and making up excuses just to arrest him, and just because he's my son and he says, he's a mother, that's right, she's definitely into me, that's why she's doing this. And the mother says, I'm the police officer and I'm sending you now, release my son. And the police officer says, are you sure, ma'am? That you want me to release your son? He's lying. And his mother said, yes, let him go now. And he replied, our mother, thank you, and I don't know what this woman wants with me, she keeps inventing things, and I don't know what would happen me if it weren't for you. And the mother says, let's go my son, let's go home. The policewoman approaches her and asks, is everything okay? The man replied, I'm getting better, but I have a pain here in my head, because of the blow, but let me tell you, wasn't that guy arrested? I saw that he was humiliating you, disrespecting you. And the police said, no, his mother is a police chief and she asked me to let him go, and he invented a lot of things for her. And the man said, it will not stay like that, no, I'm going to go there and talk to her, I need to help you. The Lord says, madam, I need to talk to you. She says, because she can't speak. And he says, I need to say something about your son, he is very spoiled, see. And her son replied, spoiled? Shut up, you beggar. And the delegate says, let him talk, what do you mean spoiled? And the man replied, I saw your son disrespecting the police officer, she was just doing her job and he arrived and made fun of her. And the police chief asked, what did he do to her? The man replied, he tore up the fine she imposed on him, and, just because she is a woman, he disrespected her, and on top of that he was harassing her, and also had a stick that he threw and hit my head and almost killed me. She turns to her son and says, is this true? Your son replied, no mom, he's lying, he's with that policewoman. Soon the policewoman comes back with her friend who says, hi Ms. Mel, what he said is true and we were really disrespecting the policewoman. The son says, shut up man, you're going to ruin everything. And the mother said, I can't believe that you're making me feel ashamed, you're disrespecting an authority, my coworker. And her son say, no mom, that's not it. The friend replied, yes, Ms. Mel, and I want to apologize to you and the police, we have done all this for both of us. And the delegate says, police officer can arrest both of you, and it's not because he's my son that he's going to get rid of, no, he has to pay for everything he has done and he has to learn. And the police said, and not only that, no, someone canceled the ambulance, who was it? The friend says, it was me, he can take us to prison. The police thanks him for his honesty. The delegate says, thank you very much. And I'm sorry about my son, he's really spoiled. And the man replied, you have to educate your son, because you saw what happened. And the mother said, I'll take care of him. They both agree and are gone.